Welcome back to Linger Longer with Books. My name's Catherine, and in this week's video I'm going to be taking you to the secondhand book sale. The secondhand book sale that I'm heading to is in a location called Hayling Island, and for those of you who've been watching my channel for a while, it's one that I regularly go to every half term here in England. I think that's every 3 or 4 months, but anyway, it's October. This week is the latest one. It's running for a few days, so I've currently got a day off. It's currently Friday while I'm filming this clip, so I thought that I would head in my car about half an hour's drive away and see what lovely sort of secondhand gems that they've got. The book sale is run by a local scout group. Some of you will be familiar, especially if you're tuning in from the UK, what sort of scouts are, but traditionally it's a sort of a movement that's been running for probably 100 years or so now, and it's traditionally for young boys to learn all sorts of life skills, friendship, kind of outdoor survival, I guess, skills, all sorts of things like that. It's very kind of well respected, so I thought actually secondhand book sale, I know that I'm supporting a really important local community group, so that's a bonus. But I'm going to take along with me my trusty little notebook that I've had on the go for a little while now, and every now and again I shall jot down authors or books that I'm on the lookout for in terms of locations that I'm going to. So I can see last time was my visit to Chapters bookstore in Dublin. So I shall see what I find today. I'm not going to be too prescriptive with myself, but if there are any titles by Simone St. James, Alison Weir, Stephen King, Andy Weir, I shall be very happy. But yeah, the Hayling Island book sales tend to surprise me. I tend to come home usually not empty-handed, and usually with titles that probably weren't even on my radar to begin with. As I said, I've been a few times before. One of my last trips I went there was with my twin sister Rachel, so I shall try and remember to pop that in the description box below if you want to watch that one. That was a lot of fun. We had a lot of giggles, so that's a nice one to watch if you like this video and you typically like watching book sale videos. But anyway, I'm going to get on the road now. I need to get a coffee in my hand of some description and then head there. So I shall report back a little bit later. I've made it to Hayling Island. That was around half an hour drive for me. I've had my coffee on the go, which has been nice, and it looks like the doors are just opened. It's 10 AM. There's no other cars here so far, so I might have some ample filming time ahead, so I shall dive in. I've got £20 cash, so I shall see what that gets me. I'm not expecting to spend that whole amount because the books are sort of £1 or £2 each, I think. But yeah, I shall see. I need to empty my tote bag and just get inside. now later in the day, and as you can see from that footage, I've had a really lovely day. I started off at the secondhand book sale, then I went to a local town called Fareham, which was on my way home, and I had a lovely wander around numerous charity shops and Waterstones because I had a voucher to spend, but I didn't actually pick up any books in the Waterstones. The charity shops had a really great range of fiction and non-fiction, so it was lovely browsing those shelves, as you might have spotted some titles that you've either read or you're interested in. But I thought that I would come on here and just run you through the 9 books that I picked up at the secondhand book sale, and just run you through the reasons why I came home with these 9. When I arrived, I headed straight to the back room of the Scout Hall, which contains all of the fiction. As you will have seen in the footage, it's arranged alphabetically from A to Z. Z if you're tuning in from America. And I had a nice kind of leisurely stroll around the boxes containing the books by letters of the authors' surnames, and nothing was really jumping out at me, if I'm honest. There were copies that were either a little bit too kind of well read, or books that just weren't grabbing me, saying take me home. Because let's face it, my bookshelves are bursting. I'm being really ruthless with the ones that I'm purchasing from now on. A lot of these ones that are kind of on top of my shelves, I'm doing a really focused 2026 TBR, and my sort of mission is to read as many of the books on my shelves that I haven't yet read as possible. So tune in, I will be doing a video very soon about my 2026 TBR. But as I was walking around, it suddenly struck me, why don't I pick up, I was spotting some great copies of books that I've already read or I thought might be interesting for others. So I basically thought, why don't I just pick up a few copies to then leave in local little free libraries to me. I have seen a few YouTubers do that, mainly in the US, I have to say, but I thought that that was a really nice way to pass the kind of love of reading onwards and sort of paying it forwards in that way. So yeah, I was suddenly kind of struck by that idea, and I thought, oh, that'll justify me buying books, but they're for other people, which is always a lovely feeling. So I'll run you through the 4 that I did get. First up was a strange colour book, but it caught my eye, and that was OK Days by Jenny Mustard. I just thought the cover colour, the jacket design was really quite striking. It's in brilliant condition. I should say all of the books that I have bought were £1 each, whether they're hardback or paperback. And this book is hailed as a beautifully observed portrait of self-discovery and uncertain love by Natasha Brown, that's author of Assembly. And this looks like it follows Sam is 28, Swedish, carefree and chaotic. Over the course of 3 sticky summer months in London, she falls hard for Lucas. Lucas, 27, sensitive and calm, is struggling to get a foothold in the adult world. Sam is a gorgeous distraction. OK Days is the story of 2 people trying to hold the pieces of their life together while also holding on to each other. So I thought that that might be really lovely for someone to pick up and read. That just really caught my eye, so I'm glad I came home with a copy of that. So that is kind of, I guess, a life story, life affirming in terms of fiction in that way. Next up, I picked up, there were 2 copies of this, but I picked up the best copy, and this is Christmas at the Cupcake Cafe, that's not easy to say, by Jenny Colgan. And I thought this would be great if someone is looking for a festive read very soon, then they can enjoy this, or they might be wanting to gift it to someone, a friend, a relative, etc. So this one I haven't read myself before, but it sounds like it follows Izzy Randall, proud owner of the Cupcake Cafe. She's in love and couldn't be happier. Her new business is thriving and she is surrounded by close friends, even if her cupcake colleagues, Pearl and Caroline, don't seem quite as upbeat about the coming season of snow and merriment. That just sounds like a lovely tale to dive into in the winter months coming up very, very soon. So I thought that might appeal to, again, a certain type of reader. So there's that one. The other one I just couldn't leave there. It's Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. This again caught my eye. It's a large trade paperback size. It's in brilliant condition, as you can see. And I did check the inside cover. I haven't read any Colleen Hoover yet. Let me know if you are a Colleen fan and which one you think that I would enjoy. I'd love to know. This was first published in 2020 and it is, I did check in the inside cover, it's a standalone. Didn't want it to be part of a series where it was out of order and perhaps like third or fourth in a series. So this story is about Baya Grimm has only ever known a life of poverty and neglect. After surviving by any means necessary, she finally has a hard-earned ticket out of Kentucky with a full ride to Penn State. 2 short months before she's finally free, an unexpected death leaves her homeless and forced to spend the remainder of her summer on a peninsula in Texas with a father she barely knows. I won't go any further than that, but again, I thought that's a whole different genre, a whole different kind of kettle of emotions and issues and situations that might appeal to a reader out there when I drop it in the little free library. So that came home with me as well. And then the fourth book that I picked up, this did pull at my bookish heartstring initially, but I thought, no, let's pass it on. Let's gift it and give it to someone else out there. I think this originally came with a sleeve, but it's not on there, but this is in lovely condition anyway. Bedtime stories for stressed out adults. Hands up if you feel that this would instantly soothe your stressed heart. I think it would me, but it says Tales to Soothe Tired Souls, introduced by Lucy Mangan. I've read some of Lucy's books. They're brilliant. Go check them out. This is in superb condition. It's not tatty. It's not dogged. It's lovely. So it just had to come home. Table of contents. There are various short stories in here. I'm just flicking through. There's one called To Sleep by William Wordsworth. There's one called Kew Gardens by Virginia Woolf. Let's have a look. Anne of Green Gables, an excerpt from, that's by L.M. Montgomery. I might dip into this before I actually hand it over. Full admission and confession there. But I just thought, oh, that might be really, really lovely. Again, I'm conscious that it's end of October. Winter is really tough for a lot of people, and people's anxiety and stress might really be amplified at this time of year. I know that stress and anxiety are things that we all live with all year round, but I thought if this can bring some comfort to someone, then that would be that would make me feel really good in sort of sharing this onwards and it not being stuck in a box at a book sale. So I brought these, the 4 that I brought home, and I shall do a video very, very soon where I am dropping these 4 off to my nearest little free library. So just to sum up, these are 4 completely different stories. This is obviously a collection of short stories, but hopefully these do appeal and they find their way to new homes very soon. A complete side note is during the afternoon I went and had my hair done, so if it looks a little bit different to the clips earlier on, that's why. I've had the colour, the grey and the white hair has gone, which is a huge relief, and I've had a little bit off the length. So if you're thinking, wow, your hair's looking really lovely and glossy and shiny compared to earlier, then that's the reason. Okay, so next up, I picked up, and this is quite towards the end, because when you go and hand over your cash to the lovely volunteers who run the book sale every half term, you're in the non-fiction hall, which has obviously biography, history, photography, royalty, travel, all of those genres that you would expect in non-fiction. But I was looking at the history section because, as I have mentioned, and I'm starting to mention it more, so sorry, not sorry, I am writing a book, writing a novel. I hope that it will turn into the length of a novel, and I'm sort of labelling it Project Green-Eyed Monster. And it's set in the 1950s in England. It's a historical crime fiction, murder sort of thriller, and it pivots around the 1950s in England, and it goes back for a period to the 1930s. So it's a little bit of kind of backwards and forwards with time to explore the characters, explore who they are. So I'm not going to say too much more than that because I'm 10,000 words in and I've got probably another 80,000 to go. So anyway, saying that, this book literally jumped out at me and right into my hands. It's called 50s Style. This is called Then and Now by Richard Horn. It looks like that font is quite hard to read, but I thought, yes, this is what I need to flick through for inspiration, for reference points visually and factually. And I'm just going to show you a few things in here. It says Women by Day. Look at the beautiful fashion that they had. And this will help in my descriptive kind of moments to explain to the reader and describe to the reader perhaps what my characters are wearing. Let's have a look through some of this. There is interior design aspects, what houses might have looked like. Let's have a look. Let's flick through some more. Let's see. There are some like textures and fabrics and items and objects there that would have been around the homes. Sweets and advertising. What did adverts look like? What were people eating? What were they watching on TV? What brands were about? So anyway, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. That's the geek in me, the history geek in me. But chuffed with that. That is going to go into my little stack of quickly growing reference books to help guide me as I go in my writing. So there's that one. Next up, I'm going to stick with the same decade. I picked this one up called The Golden Years, 1953. This was a very random find, but my book starts in 1953. So I thought this would be really valuable. It literally goes through the year and what happened, which will save me relying on Google, which I don't want to do. So there are pictures. There are obviously little write-ups of what happened month by month through 1953. Obviously, a huge world moment was Queen Elizabeth II's coronation in June 1953, which does feature in my book. You've got John Christie to hang. Capital punishment is a thread that runs through my book, and I have deliberately set my book pre the last woman to be hung, Ruth Ellis, I think she was hung in July 1955. So I have deliberately set my book in 1953 to go forwards, and like I said, it also goes backwards in time with the characters. Then also, because it goes back to 1938 right now, goes back 15 years from 53. I saw this book and it says born in the 30s. So I thought this would provide me with what life was like in the 1930s for many people. There are pictures to kind of inspire my writing in that way. What were families like? What were the family dynamics, the family unit? What were they dressed as? It looks like There's a mobile dentist there, which might not be too pleasant to think about. But anyway, I thought I would regret not picking this up for all the reasons that I've just said. So again, chuffed with that one. So there's 3 books there, as I said, that will go into my kind of reference pile. So yeah, let me know, give me a thumbs up if you think that that is a good idea. I'm chuffed personally. So it was worth going to the book sale just to pick up those 3 books. But as I said, those 4 books that I've picked up to pass onwards is kind of the cherry on top, really. But there are 2 more books that I've bought that I want to show you. The last 2 books out of the 9 total that I came home with are just as much impulse buys as the rest of them. First up, I saw the spine of this book in one of the non-fiction crates, and that is Fighting on the Home Front: The Legacy of Women in World War One. This is by Kate Adie. Kate Adie will probably be a familiar name to many here in the UK. She is an incredibly well-known, well-respected, highly acclaimed news correspondent, and has reported, I believe, on many front lines of wars around the world over many, many decades. And I wasn't aware that she had written this book. I did scroll back through it. It is a little bit yellowed. I hadn't quite appreciated that. It's in good reading condition, just a little bit musty. It was first published, it looks like, 2013 by Hodder and Stoughton, and it looks like from the contents page that it kind of goes through all sorts of roles women carried out. So there's lady police, skivvies and students, mowing, hoeing and singling, marching not fighting, knitting royally. So lots of indications there of roles that women performed whilst World War One, can't even say it, World War One was on from 1914 to 1918. So that should be really interesting. Yeah, very happy to come home with that one. And then last but by no means least is a copy, again I saw this lying down, The Mountbattens by Andrew Lowney. I have read this book, and my copy of it is right out of arm's reach over there, the paperback version. But I have read this book. I have also read Traitor King, which is about Edward Windsor and Wallace Simpson, and I have most recently read Andrew's very, very recently published book about Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson called Entitled. So he's actually technically now not Prince Andrew, is he? He's Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. So 3 of Andrew's explorations into those historical figures, couples, the Windsor family. And this one was too good to pass up. Obviously it's hardback, so it's hard to get your hands on a copy of hardbacks. It's been a few years since this came out. It's in brilliant condition, not dog-eared, not penciled on. When did this come out? 2019. Wow, that's a few years ago now. So I thought that I could give the paperback copy I got hold of a new home, and then I would have the hardbacks of all 3 of those books I have read of Andrew's so far. So really chuffed to find that was the last book that I picked up. So there you go. Those are the 9 books that I came home with. Hit the like button if you think that I've done well. I think I have. £9 for 9 books. I really do find new things every single time I go to that book sale, which is why I keep returning. It's not on my doorstep. It's a little bit of a drive away, like I said, about half an hour each way. But knowing that I'm supporting a good cause, and that I think I've come home with books every single time, and these ones have just absolutely stunned me this time for all the reasons that I've shared on this video. So saying all of that, I would just say To my regular followers, you know by now that I do a bit of a call out at this point and say, drop an emoji into the chat to let me know that you've watched this far. I really do appreciate you taking the time to do so. I think in honour of these absolute bargains, leave me a cash or a coin money emoji, because they are blooming brilliant in terms of these books are in great condition. Just a couple of them a little bit kind of aged and yellowed, but there we go, aren't we all? But yeah, I really have enjoyed making this bonus for you video for you this week. My Monday video, my regular weekly video, will actually be it's a perfect segue, because I'm seeing none other than Andrew Lowney speak at Stratford Literary Festival on Sunday morning, and that is focused on his latest book, as I said, entitled About Andrew. So I'm fascinated to see what Andrew will say himself in light of all of the revelations and all of this sort of royal family statements and what is happening in the flux of Andrew Lowney's book entitled and Virginia Giuffre's book being published. There really is this public and political momentum behind the fact that there has never been any accountability or admissions or anything of the kind from former Prince Andrew. And I think it is at boiling point at this stage in world history, because the very fact that there has been no acknowledgement, or very, very poor or little acknowledgement of what really happened. And personally, I think former Prince Andrew has gone so far down the line of denial that he cannot now retract anything or go backwards from that. So I think that is what has spurred King Charles to act and decide what he has in the way that he has ultimately. So personally, I think good riddance, because I think there's been a lot of despicable behaviour over many, many decades, and that needs to come to light and people be held to account. I still think there are more revelations and more truths to come out. I don't think we're through it yet, but we shall see, and time will tell. And it'll be interesting to see in time what public reflections, opinions, thoughts, and how this goes down in history. So I shall be doing my Monday video all around that particular talk. I'm mad. Stratford is a hell of a drive for me each way, probably about 3 hours each way. So I'll be setting off tomorrow night, Saturday evening, to go up to stay the night before, because the talk is on Sunday at 11 AM. So watch out for my new video, which is posted every Monday, usually at 6 PM GMT, if you are interested in that video especially. But anyway, I shall wrap this particular bonus video up. I just have got sometimes I've just got too many nice bookish things to share with you that it just won't wait till every Monday, and it warrants some bonus videos here and there. So I hope you're all doing really well. I'm going to go and cook some dinner at this point and sign off, and maybe read a few pages of my current read, which is Best Hex Ever by Nadia El Fassi. It's Halloween night as I record this, so it is perfect. I'm going to cozy up with my blanket and my cat, whether he knows that yet or not, and just hopefully watch some Halloween movies, including Hocus Pocus, which is my all-time favourite of a child having grown up in the 1990s. So there you go. Yeah, I shall see you in the next video, which is only a couple of days away in this particular scenario. So take care, and I'll speak to you in just a few short days. Bye.